I mean, like, how the Jewish law perceived them. If they are, for instance, to kill a Jew
No, you're
in
right.
Eretz
You're
Israel,
right.
how would we? I
Wait.
mean, of course, it
We
wouldn't be a
have rules.
discrimination. It wouldn't be a discrimination.
Listen.
Yeah.
If you have a particular case that you would like to ask us what our legal rulings would bear, we'll answer you. Like, you're talking about what were the legal rulings we had 2,000 years ago with different tribes that lived and interacted with us, sometimes in a good way,
Cool.
sometimes in a bad
Yeah.
way. We have records of the stuff we did. We also have records of how we would deal with it.
Exactly.
And there were
But that's the point.
disputes and disagreements,
No,
and
no, but that's
sometimes
the point. No,
wars
no,
were like
that's
the
the
big
point.
politics of the day.
I say that.
I don't think there is a point.
No,
All right. Wait.
because maybe you
Hold on.
came
Hold on.
later. Maybe you came late. You didn't listen to what
Okay.
I brought that spot up because the rabbi
I think you
here.
have a good point. But I always said that it's very similar, that the status of a noide is really on the same level as those that are dhimmi.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
No,
sure. Yeah. So I brought it up because
no,
you brought the fact that there are
no,
demis in
that's
Islam.
incorrect.
Well, it is correct. I mean, the notion of a ger
Really? Go ahead,
toshav.
prove that.
All right, it's actually worse
Okay, prove
because
it.
a ger toshav is put to death for breaking 7 laws with only one witness and with no warning. Okay, put to death
What?
for stealing. I mean, for stealing anything less than a shova pruta.
I'm sorry. I asked you to prove something, and now you're just saying things? Do you have a source?
Sure. The Rambam Hilchos Malachim, chapter 8 or 10, 8 or 10.
And this
This is
says
common
what?
knowledge that a Gentile is put to death for breaking
For?
any one of the 7 Noahide laws.
Okay, so you're saying that a non-Jew has the status of a dhimmi.
No, I'm saying that a Noahide in Judaism, the notion of a Ger Toshav, is
Yeah,
very
I
similar.
understand.
Is
You're
very
saying
similar
that
to the notion of dhimmi.
are the Jews able to put him to death?
Nowadays, no one is putting anyone to death because we don't have a court. Okay. When there was a court, now, honestly, I don't believe that the status of a Ger Toshav ever really existed. It was hypothetical, although
First
there
of
were
all,
Gentiles living in the land.
I don't know why you're saying Ger Toshav, because you're definitely mistaken, right? Because your example was a non-Jew that violates the laws. Ger Toshav means like wonderful stranger, and it's a good person. It's a person
No,
that settles within your land and
what are you
lives well.
talking about,
So
man?
a
I mean,
Ger
you're completely
Toshav
off.
would never commit a crime. That's where it makes no sense for you to say a Ger Toshav that steals. That's why it was confusing to me.
A ger toshav means a stranger that resides. That's all it means. It doesn't mean ger
No, but
setting or
resides
someone
with
special.
you, like as a friend.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, a Ger Toshav is lauded in the literature.
Or you're making this stuff up. Okay.
No,
I mean, I
not at
quoted the
all.
Rambam where it says in the Rambam but
I'll show you the
that a
Rambam
ger
on the Ger
toshav is
Toshav.
bound to keep the 7 laws of Noah. And if
That's
he
right.
fails to keep the 7 laws of Noah, he's put to death.
So if you were a criminal.
You're a criminal as a ger toshav if you break any one of the laws of Noah.
So like if you murdered somebody?
That definitely would make you a criminal. But
right.
even
And you're saying what? I shouldn't punish that guy?
That's what you're saying.
What?
You just said that a ger toshav doesn't get punished because he's an upstanding citizen.
No, I didn't say that. Where?
If you allow me to, I think I'll have an easy question. We'll make things clear.
What are you trying to say,
That's
Rabbi?
The Jewish law.
I think you're completely ignorant. And if you would like to debate me on my channel, I would love to make a spectacle out of you.
Anyways,
debate me on what? What do you want to debate me, Rabbi?
See, I know that voice.
Michael is a nice dude. I just wanted to say something. For instance, if someone...
You are a clod,
Michael,
however.
Could you just answer to that, or whoever on stage? If a Jew kill, let's say, willingly, according to Jewish law, a non-Jew, would he be killed for a non-Jew, for having killed a non-Jew, according to halacha?
No.
Yeah, of course.
No.
That's murder.
Well, so you're ignorant of halacha as well.
What the fuck is wrong with you people?
All right. The Rambam mentions that he gets judged by the Beis Din Shomala, but not on earth. That's unfortunately...
If a Jew kills a non-Jew,
correct,
he's not obligated to be killed.
Unfortunately.
What's his punishment?
Unfortunately.
What's his punishment?
Unfortunately, halakha doesn't mention a punishment.
Does he get lashes?
It doesn't say.
Does he have to bring a carbon of some kind?
It doesn't say. I mean, there's a lot of things that are...
According to you, the Jewish law is that a Jew can walk up to a non-Jew, kill him, and there are no capital punishments, no punishments of any kind that any court in the land of Israel will lodge against this murderer, this very, very clear
I mean, what's the
murderer.
demagoguery?
One second,
what's
I
the
just want to be
emotion?
clear.
It sounds like you're having a baby.
You think that is the law?
All right. I see.
Yes or no?
I refuse to have a discussion with someone who's completely ignorant on this topic, who's just emoting.
You're ridiculous. You're like a cartoon character. What the hell's wrong with you, dude?
All right.
Like, either learn the culture or don't pretend that you know it.
Oh, the culture. Oh, because we're not dealing with halakha anymore.
Yeah, we're dealing with Judaism.
Okay. All right.
Hi, Rabbi Asher.
Hey.
Hey, it's good to see you. I'm a YouTube fan. I'm hoping that you meet a Mr. Yochanan. I think you should invite him on your show one day.
Who's that?
The guy right next to you, Yochanan Lowen.
Is he the one yelling at me?
No, the guy next to you.
No, he's talking about the guy above you, the ex-cussid from Canada.
Yeah, my phone's almost dead, so I'm going to have it turned off. But sure, I mean, hit me up, torjudaism.com. I love doing interviews, and I'm very respectful as long as people are not insulting me. There's a lot of things in halakha to be ashamed of, okay? I follow Judaism because it works more than it doesn't work. But anyone familiar with halakha has found halachot that they're not proud of, okay? And I'm just telling you, I'm not proud of the fact that there isn't an actual halacha for if a Jew kills a non-Jew. Now, we do have an obligation to take care of Noahides in our midst. Gerim Toshavim, there's an obligation to take care of them. Unfortunately, there's not a clear halacha that a Jew is put to death for killing a Gentile, unfortunately. And if you want, I could give you more examples of that are tied to this notion that'll make you not look at halacha as so infallible.
So, Rabbi, so that was the discussion, actually. It was to say that the fact that there are different categories within the society of believers is not different. Of course, every religion has its peculiarities, but the same way that category exists in the Jewish law, it does exist also in Islamic law.
No,
So
but the difference is, hold on, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But the difference is that Jewish law is limited to the borders of Israel, while Islamic law is global. That means you have nowhere to run.
The idea that there's nowhere in Jewish law that punishes someone for killing a non-Jew is simply false. Just not a real thing.
Can you please show me the source? Please show me the source.
If the Highland Park shooter had been a Jew according to Jewish law and killed only Jews, he could not be killed because he was not warned twice before he pulled the trigger. So the idea of the few murders that you're able to kill someone in an earthly court for are a tiny, tiny percentage. Again, they averaged less than one time a person was killed in the court every 70 years. So yes, any mitigating factor removes the court's ability to kill someone for murder. Literally any mitigating factor.
No.
If two people did not audibly warn him, you're about
That's not
to
the way
murder
halakha
someone,
functions.
and it's against Jewish law, and he audibly replied, I am aware it's against Jewish law, and I'm going to kill them anyways.
Okay.
And those two people were not related to either him, each
That's
other,
not how
or the
it
victim.
functions.
Unless all those things were there, then a court cannot kill someone. So your idea that
that's not what I'm
the court
talking
does not punish someone for killing a non-Jew is a lie. So I don't know if you're ignorant or you're intending to mislead everyone in the room, but it's simply false. So yes, you cannot get the death penalty for any murder which does not fall into very exact parameters. But to extend that to the fact that the Torah does not punish people for killing a non-Jew is a bat crap crazy point of view. Now, I understand how that talking point might work when you're talking to your white supremacist buddies. As you're breaking into Nancy Pelosi's office, it's kind of awkward when they're like, hey, you're a Jew. What are you doing here? So you're
I
like,
didn't
no,
enter the
I'm sorry
Capitol, by
I
the
was a
way.
Jew.
I
I'm
mean, for
really
the record, I
ashamed
did
of
not enter the
Judaism.
Capitol.
There's all kinds of things in Judaism that I think is wrong. Don't worry,
Okay.
I'm with you. Let's kill the Jews
Again.
together. But the fact is that your argument has no basis in reality.
All right.
It simply doesn't exist.
So you're also emoting.
Cartoon character.
So the way halakha actually functions, there's many hypothetical instances brought down by Chazal why people should be killed. That's what I'm talking about. That it's brought down by Chazal that a Jew is killed for putting a Gentile to death, essentially for no reason. It's just not brought down. The medrash that a court didn't kill people for 70 years was disproven in the next page. In the next daf, it says that if that was the case, then murder would have been rampant in Israel. That's a medrash that people quote to try to make a rabbi seem very peace-like, okay? But it's not true. The court put a lot of people to death. It doesn't appear like an actual halakha. Whether you believe that the court put people to death or not, it's not on the books that they're capable, according to what's written down in the books, they're not capable of putting a Jew to death for killing a Gentile. I'll give you another example. The Rambam writes, I believe in a Surah Bia, that if a Jew rapes a girl, a Gentile girl, that girl has to be put to death because she was involved in making that Jew sin. This appears in the Rambam black and white, and he's reiterating Chazal. Now, am I proud of that law? No. I mean, I'm ashamed of it. But I'm honest enough to tell you what's actually there, instead of just making blanket statements and bringing up no sources. I don't believe that it's my job to whitewash Judaism, which is essentially what you're doing. I mean, just to sound nice in front of people and bringing up the notion that I was in the Capitol or whatever, it's another way to deflect. But yeah, I wasn't ashamed for going to DC on January 6th.
And Rabbi, just I don't know if Harav is still with us, but the idea, I mean, like, I don't think actually that's, I mean, I'm fully understanding with the fact that if such a punishment does not exist, it doesn't mean, though, that it's an encouragement for the Jews to kill non-Jews.
Correct.
So I'm making
Absolutely.
a difference. Sure.
Right. It's
So,
not.
yeah, so there is a difference with that, of course, because Jews being human beings. So I mean, like, no law of human beings would recommend human beings to kill even alien human beings, knowing that actually in other parts of the Torah it says to be kind to the foreigner, etc., etc. So I mean, if you take it as a whole, there is this humanistic part, but of course there is some sort of discrimination. Without, I mean, I don't attribute anything negative to that term discrimination, but there is a discrimination in the Jewish law when it comes to, you know, the categories of Jews and non-Jews. And about the obligation, I don't see the difference, because I mean the Islamic law would apply in a territory where such a law has an authority. So I mean, if a dominion is beyond the authority of that theoretical caliphate, then of course, I mean, but it's no brainer that the law will not apply in a territory that is not under the authority of the Muslims. And same applies to the Jews. The Jews would concentrate on having a dominion only in Eretz Israel. Then of course that law would have a territoriality to it. Now of course we perceive that the truth is universal, and we have the obligation to tell the truth, not to compel people to become Muslims. Otherwise
Yeah,
we
but
would
the
have
bigger
compelled
question.
everybody to become Muslim in the 8th century or the 9th century, which didn't happen.
So, if you acknowledge that Judaism and Islam has such similarities, why don't you just stick with what's older and instead of embracing the copycat?
No, it's not about being older. I mean, like, the thing that,
No, if they're doing the
oh,
same thing,
right.
then why did Islam or Muhammad have to come around and sort of just rebrand the religion of the Hebrews and offer it as the next new thing when the playbook was already there? He
No,
could have
because
converted to Judaism. Every Muslim, there was a kingdom in the Middle East or in that region that converted to Islam. It was called the Kingdom of Adib, I believe. Similar to like the story of the Khazarians, with the
to
Kingdom of
Judaism
Khazarians.
you mean, not Islam, to Judaism, right?
Right, Judaism. I mean,
Right,
converted to
yeah,
Judaism. So
yeah.
the notion of conversion, a historian, his name was Salo Baron, he said that 10% of the Roman Empire were converts to Judaism. So it's